Every coffee needs a lotus.
It's nice easing back into old routines, only now with extra care. Let's do it for ourselves, for our loved ones, for everyone's safety.
Hurry up, let's go. Let's go.
And staying safe starts at home.
Nice.
From how we work and learn, to the little ways we find joy. If you must head out, take extra care. Making a small effort, being mindful, they go a long way to keeping us all safe. The health of all depends on each one of us. So let's work together, using new tools and keeping to our new habits to protect the people we love. At work, let's all be good team players.
Hi, morning. How are you? Good.
A little distance between us today will be good for us all tomorrow. A little care can protect the one thing that means the world to us. So let's do our part.
The views and opinions expressed by the speaker Host, commentator, or other third party in ARIVA webinars, e-learning events, and/or virtual masterclass are those of the speaker, host, commentator, or third party, and do not necessarily reflect and represent the views and opinions of ARIVA. Furthermore, ARIVA does not warrant, express, or imply the merchantability and fitness for a particular purpose of any product, information, service, or process presented by the speaker, host, commentator, or third party, and ARIVA specifically disclaims any legal liability or responsibility for the accuracy, completeness, or usefulness of any product, information, service, or process presented. Finally, material or information presentation, opinion, process, or service by, on any trade name, trademark, manufacturer, or otherwise during ARIVA webinars, e-learning events, and/or virtual masterclass do not constitute or imply ARIVA's endorsement or recommendation of such opinion, process, service, item, or organization.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to ARIVA Academy's free live webinar, Avoid Common Pitfalls in Compensation and Benefits Administration. I'm Kate, and I'll be with you the whole afternoon as your host. Now, before we get going with our webinar, I have a few reminders to make sure that our program will run smoothly the whole afternoon. ARIVA is committed to protecting your privacy, hence stricter security of this webinar has been implemented. For better viewing of your Zoom experience, we encourage you to please update your Zoom application by visiting their website. And for those of you who are using their mobile gadgets to view this webinar, you can go to either the Google Play Store or the Apple Store so you can download and install the Zoom app. Okay, now I want to know, is someone here joining an ARIVA Academy webinar for the first time? If it's your first time, can you type hi here in the chat box? Also, let us know where you are from. We'd love to know where our participants are viewing us from. I'm here in Parañaque City. It's raining this afternoon. How about you? We have a lot of participants who are viewing us from out of town, from Agusan del Norte, from Bacolod. We have friends all the way from Baguio, from Bataan, from Batangas, Bicol, from CDO, from Cebu, from Davao, from Ilocos, Iloilo, from Isabela, from Laguna, Leyte, also from Negros Oriental, from Nueva Ecija, from Olongapo, from Palawan. We have friends from Pampanga, from Tuguegarao, from Zamboanga, and it's raining in Baguio, from Tacloban, Taguig, Malabon, from Bulacan, from Digos, from Singapore, from Tarlac, from Coronadal, from South Cotabato, from Cavite. We really have a lot of participants from out of town, from Luzon, from Visayas, Mindanao, magandang hapon, Pilipinas. But as I've mentioned, we have friends from Singapore also. That's Jeff Ward. Hello, Jeff. Good afternoon. And aside from Singapore, we have participants who are watching us from Thailand and also from Nepal. Good afternoon, everyone. We're very happy to have you here. And to those who have attended in the past, welcome back to ARIVA Academy. Thank you for being with us again. Okay, now let's do an audio check, okay? I want to make sure that once our speaker is on screen, you'll be able to hear the discussion clearly. So please type 111 in the chat box if you can hear me clearly. Type 222 if you can't hear anything. 2121 if you can hear me, but the sound is breaking up. Type question mark if you don't understand anything. If you're having trouble with your audio, please have someone check it or check your earphones, check the audio of your gadgets, because we really want to make sure that you will not miss any part of the discussion. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 111s and a few 2121s. Please make sure, check your gadgets, check your earphones, check your headsets so that you can really hear us clearly. Later, we'll have a 5-minute break and I will be announcing that. Okay, something exciting will also be happening during that break time. Participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by our administrator during the discussion just to avoid interruptions. But for those of you who might have questions during our Q&A portion, that is before we end our session, you can click the raise hand button so you can ask your question directly to our speaker or type your questions in the chat box and we'll be reading them. An e-certificate of attendance will be awarded to participants who will successfully complete the entire masterclass, and they will be available 3 to 5 working days after the learning session. Please make sure your cameras are turned on all throughout our session. This will be your attendance, okay? So that you will be sure to receive your certificate. Make sure cameras are turned on all throughout our session. Thank you for that. Also, please help us build and improve our service with your comments and your feedback. You can scan this QR code that will bring you to the feedback form. At the end of our session today, please fill out the form and then send it back to us. We will appreciate your feedback. There you have it. Now I am ready to introduce our speaker. Our speaker this afternoon is a diplomate in people management, the highest rank bestowed to HR practitioners in the country by People Management Association of the Philippines. He was also PMAP president in 2002 and PMAP's People Manager of the Year in 2006. He was a past president for 2 terms of the Asia Pacific Federation of Human Resource Management. And he is the only Filipino to hold such a position. He was also past president of the World Federation of People Management Associations and the only Filipino and the second Asian to hold that position. He has co-authored business books, Organization and Management, and The Moving Train, Integrating Strategy, Organization, and People. He was a former MBA and college professor, international speaker, and a mentor and an executive coach. He started his HR career as an executive search consultant, progressively moving to key HR management and senior executive positions. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our speaker, Mr. Ernie Espinosa. Good afternoon, Ernie.
Good afternoon, Kate. How are you?
I am doing great and excited to be with you again this afternoon.
Well, I'm very happy to see you. This is the 3rd time we saw each other during
virtually.
Yeah, virtually. Well, I would like first to greet everyone. I hope your afternoon is fine. When I took a look at those who joined earlier, there are no names that are quite familiar to me, with all due respect. Because I'm quite active in PHRG, If some of the ARIVA members are also PHRG members, I'm quite active there. And last May 25 of 2022, I even established my own HR group, which I call Human Renewal and Transformation Group of the Philippines, or HRTGP for short. And we have very few members. There are about 13 regular members because we're very strict when it comes to HR practitioners writing in the English language instead of the vernacular. But we have about 250 what we call cadet thinkers. No? So we are trying to develop, and if they meet the grade, there might be instances in the future where they will become regular members. Be that as may, the group is very small, but I can say vibrant. In fact, we are coming up with 2 webinars, if I may promote these 2 webinars. Sometime this month, and also one in September. But this is not to gain profit, but to be able to finance our upcoming event, which is what we call our 150th Thinking Conversation Question, where we will have our 4th learning event. The first learning event we had was about improving critical thinking skills. The second one was about managing expectations. And the third one, when we celebrated our centenarian, over 100 TCQs, is all about the Dunning-Kruger syndrome, which means that there are some people who have this cognitive problem where they think that they are smarter than the others, when in reality they are not. Now, as far as ARIVA is concerned, this year I first had my webinar on Japanese practices that motivate employees. And I think we were able to generate about more than 400 participants. For this particular webinar, I think that we have 300. And we have 3 guests from Singapore, Thailand, and Nepal. So I would like to greet the 3 of you. Welcome to the Philippines, and I hope that you're enjoying yourselves. Now, finally, I would like also to thank JM, Irish, Anne, and Kate for having me invited again. I will have my 4th webinar sometime in October, when I will talk about a Japanese practice which they call Horenso. Okay, now, this is the plan. Please allow me to speak from 2 o'clock up to around 3:15. And then by 3:15 or earlier, I will open the floor. Please take the opportunity to ask me questions. Okay? Anything under the sun, as long as it is related to HR. Okay. The other day, as I was reading some posts in PHRG, I noticed one post that stated something like, do we indicate that meal allowance is part of the minimis benefits in our 1601-C? Now, that particular question is, I might say, fuzzy. Okay? Why? Because no one is sure that all the participants know what 1601-C means. And not all participants too know what de minimis means. So before I start talking about avoiding common pitfalls in compensation and benefits administration, allow me first to have definition of terms. Okay. Let's talk first about salary range. When speaking about salary structure or compensation structure, we talk about salary range. And what do you mean by salary range? Salary range is the minimum salary offered for a particular position, the midpoint or the middle, and the maximum. So you have 3 points: minimum, midpoint, maximum. So why is that so? Because a newbie in a particular position, maybe you'll have to understand this, because I noticed that many HR practitioners, the youngsters, would often say that, how come my salary is low? I deserve to have a higher salary. Now, for those who understand, the ones who have just started, let's say, as probationary employees, start at the minimum, okay, within the salary range. Okay. After about 2 or 3 years and so on, he or she will reach the midpoint, the middle, no? And maybe after 2 or 3 or 4 years, he will reach the maximum. So, in other words, within that range, as you get your merit increase or salary increase, you get to be increased based on the salary range. Okay? I think that's very clear. Now, how much should be the spreads from minimum to midpoint to maximum? In other words, what should be the differences between minimum and midpoint and maximum? What is normal is anywhere from 30% to 40%. That's what we call vertical salary range. Okay? I know, rather, horizontal salary range. Pardon my mistake. But from one job level to another, which is the vertical one, okay, there is such a thing as broadbanding. And simply, it means that the salaries between job levels should not be close to one another. The gaps should be long. For example, if you start with 30% vertical gaps or spreads in between positions, by the time you reach the chief executive, you will be using already spreads like 60% or 70%. So that the intention of this particular gaps is that you will not experience inequity. Okay? There was a question the other day, how come the salaries of supervisors, when you add their overtime, are much higher than managers? It's a good point. Okay? Now, in order to address that, through broadbanding, meaning the salary ranges are far apart from level to level, you will not experience that. But at the same time, you have to use a certain strategy. For instance, back in the day, take note of the essence and the context of what I'm saying, because if I give this example, this will apply to a similar question regarding that matter. Now, see the context of this example. Back in the day, our engineers, when they obtain their average overtime from month to month, got higher salaries than supervisors. For example, the engineer is getting something like 10,000, or let's say 15,000. And the supervisor is getting 30,000, double. But when you compute the average overtime of engineers, the average overtime of engineers would be something like 20,000. So the basic is 15, the overtime is 20. So you have 35. But since the salary of a supervisor is 30, you can see that the engineers already overtook the salaries of supervisors. So how do you address that? You increase the salary range, okay, of the supervisor by stating that the minimum salary that a supervisor can obtain would be 35,000 or 40,000. Better 40,000. Okay. His midpoint is 50 and his maximum is 60. So even if the engineers obtain their overtime, still they will not overtake the salary of the supervisor. So essentially, this is the purpose of having vertically the salary gaps. I hope that's clear and in order. Now, the other thing I would like to discuss with you is what they call compa ratio. What is compa ratio? Compa ratio is the relationship between the midpoint salary within that range that I was telling you about of a certain position. Let's say a manager. Okay? You get that midpoint, and when you benchmark or come up with a salary survey, you compute by using the midpoint as the numerator and the average salary of a manager in the same industry, okay, average, no? So, when you get the product, the quotient rather, it should be anywhere from 80 to 120%. Because when you say that the compa ratio is anywhere from 80 to 120%, it only means that the manager's salary is competitive. It simply means that when you take into consideration the salaries of other competitors or other companies within the same industry, your manager is neither low or high. But when the compa ratio becomes lower than 80%, it only means that the manager is underpaid. And conversely, if the compa ratio is higher than 120%, the manager is overpaid. And therefore, a smart, competent HR practitioner will adjust that. Okay? So that's the third point. Finally, and this is very important, so remember, but by the way, let me digress by talking about what they call position structure, okay, which should be included in our definition of terms. By position structure, we mean the different levels in the organization hierarchy. Okay, so you have, for example, I will give my profession the example, no, like you have HR clerk, HR assistant, HR officer, HR supervisor, HR manager, HR senior manager, HR director, HR assistant vice president, HR vice president, HR senior vice president, and probably executive vice president, which is seldom.
Ernie, excuse me.
EVP is already involved in operations rather than HR alone.
Hi,
And
Ernie, excuse me. Hi, Ernie. Is this part of the supposed to be presentation or it's a different, this is just the intro?
No. As I mentioned a while ago, I have not transferred slides already because
Not yet.
I am talking about definition of terms so that they understand my presentation.
Okay.
Because
We
if I
understand.
don't talk about definition of terms, they will not, the technical terms that I will use will be foreign to them.
Yes.
Okay? That's why I haven't said next. And therefore, I'm still in the introduction phase.
Introduction. Okay, we understand. Thank you.
Me. So where was I? So up to the chief executive. When you have the position structure, you can determine the salary structure because certainly you will come up with salary ranges for each position level. Okay, and in a nutshell, that was what I was talking about earlier. Now, finally, as part of my introduction, what is the purpose of a salary structure? The purpose of the salary structure is to make all salaries internally consistent and externally competitive. By internal consistency, we mean that a lower level position cannot at any one time overtake the salary of a higher position. Otherwise, you will suffer from salary inequity, which is the cause of the motivation and frustration of many employees. The other purpose is externally competitive. Why? Because the salary of your manager should at least be in comparison with the salary of your competitors. I guess it makes sense. Because if my salary as manager is not externally competitive, I will transfer to a competitor which offers me a higher pay. Now, here's the thing. Against this backdrop, let me now proceed with my presentation. Next, please, for the second slide. Okay, that was what I just said a while ago. No? Next. Now, what are the effects of salary internal inconsistency? Repeat, when a lower level position overtakes the salary of somebody who is occupying a higher level position. Okay? It will cause demoralization. Okay? I think that's plain and simple. Next. The entire employee morale, okay, which makes up what we call overall employee experience and defines the culture of the company, will trigger lowering of employee morale across the entire organization. Third, there are some employees who even make it a point to be less productive. And they say something like, why will I work hard when I'm not being given the right salary? So definitely it will slow down employee productivity. And let's face it, times are hard. We are still reeling from COVID-19. It's not yet over. So let us not be complacent. But for the most part, employees complain about mental health issues because they suffer from mental decline, depression, or even burnout. Okay, and some of them don't even want to work. They become lazy. Okay, they don't have the zest and the energy to continue working. These are some of the effects of salary internal inconsistency. Now, next. No, the other one. Back. No, sa oppressive. Next. Yan. Stay there. Oppressive culture will permeate. You know, my observation is in many large companies, which are mostly multinationals, and perhaps in medium-sized companies, they're okay. They have knowledgeable business owners. They have smart HR practitioners. Both are very familiar with the provisions of the Philippine Labor Code. But with all due respect, the same cannot be said of MSMEs. No, pardon me. But this is the truth. This is reality. That is why I'm encouraging HR practitioners as much as possible to try to apply with medium to large size companies, because these companies mostly are fair, humane, mindful, compassionate. Again, the same cannot be said of MSMEs because the business owners know nothing about the labor code. And in hiring HR practitioners, they will only hire those who they can afford to pay, but certainly not qualified. And that's the sad reality. That's why I want to offer my help in order for us to upgrade the HR profession and advance the HR profession in the Philippines. The decisions, mostly of business owners, are onerous. In other words, oppressively burdensome to employees. Examples. They don't want to issue the COE or Certificate of Employment. They try to find ways not to give the right 13th-month pay when clearly a rank and file employee who has been with the company for at least 1 month should be provided at least a prorated 13th-month pay. And they skirt paying the final pay. They make it hard for employees. So how's that? I pity these employees. I wish I am their HR manager so that I can help them. And lastly, if you have a primitive or crude salary structure, it will affect your entire organization and will not sustain your capability or ability to pay financially. Okay? So these are, in simple terms, the effects of salary internal inconsistency or inequity. Next. Now, what about the effects of salary external uncompetitiveness? As I mentioned earlier, employees will move to other companies with higher pay. They want to have a better career and greener pastures. And also sad to say, when competitors get hold of this information, they will raid the entire unit, the entire section, even the entire department of a particular company, and invite them over to their company. If, let's say, these competitors have no ethics, because in highly professional companies, we have an agreement among competitors that we will not poach people from other competitors. This is the mark of a true professional. Okay? You find ways to look for other candidates, but not within the same industry, and certainly not within your competitors. Next. Demotivation and brain drain. Employees will migrate to the US, to UK, to Singapore, and other foreign countries. And can you just imagine? Organizations try to be fair. Organizations try to be generous. Organizations try to be compassionate. Organizations try to be mindful. So if you have salary external uncompetitiveness, the culture of unfairness will sink, or rather, the culture of fairness will sink. I'm sorry, pinapalitan ko. I had the fairness changed to unfairness, but I didn't understand the concept context earlier, I was referring to the culture because I mentioned it negatively. So the right word should be culture of fairness will sing. Pardon me, my bad. Next. Now, back to the mainstream. Okay. What are the common pitfalls in salary administration? Okay. You know my style ever since is that when there is a new policy, there is a change in the salary structure, there is a change in any promulgation. Can you hear that? There is a loudspeaker from the barangay. I don't know what they are talking about, but part of their talking, no? Let's keep quiet for a while because I can hear them talk and I'm losing my concentration. Les, can you close the door? Okay, let's continue. I will just drown with my voice that first lady who is speaking. You would probably find yourself or yourselves in situations where salaries are never discussed. But as I was saying earlier, my style, even before we implement a certain policy, whether it's in training, recruitment, compensation management, etc., etc., I hold, okay, an employee general assembly or what they call town hall meeting where everyone is present. In that town hall meeting, I explained thoroughly the rationale behind a policy so that all employees will understand. In the vernacular, saan ba hinuhugot itong policy na to? O I request the seatmate of the Singaporean, Thai, and Nepalese to murmur what I just said in Filipino. There is too much secrecy. But do you know that one time in my organization, PMAP, there used to be a company, I will no longer mention the name, but it's a multinational company, okay, that publishes their salary structure in the bulletin board for everyone to see. So all employees can view the salary structure. So they feel comfortable. They do not feel anxious. because they know exactly where they stand, how much their salaries are in comparison with the salaries of other positions. So you minimize, if not get rid of, envy or jealousy. Okay? Unfortunately, especially in MSMEs, there is too much secrecy, okay, in sharing the compensation philosophy of the organization. That cannot be. Next. Again, you know, when I strategize, I always make it a point that whenever I come up with options, I always explain the rationale of what I'm doing. Because if you do not explain the reason why you're doing any act, people will not understand where you are coming from. There will be questions. There will be queries all the time. And there will be doubts on the part of employees. So, providing the rationale behind salary increases must at all times be provided by your company. Again, the basis, no, which is plural for basis, of salary merit increases are never communicated. Next. Number 4 situation is, to say the least, pathetic. Increases or deductions will suddenly appear in your payslips and you do not know what hit you. Because there is no memorandum, okay, no information about such salary increases and deductions, which certainly are acts which are demoralizing to employees. Okay, again, translators, magugulat ka na lang na may makikita kang numero sa payslip mo na hindi mo naiintindihan. Nobody knows. Only God knows. Next. This is very important. What is the basis of any salary increase? The basis of any salary increase is performance evaluation. Okay? Many are asking, when do you do it with rank and file employees who are still on probationary employment? Because I've seen posts which ask questions like, we evaluated the performance of the rank and file probationary employee on his or her first month. Then we gave him a verbal warning. On the second month, we also evaluated him or her. We gave a 1-day suspension. And on the third month, we gave him 3-day suspension because of the results of performance evaluation. My friends, you can never do that. Why? Because within the first 3 months, probationary employees are still in the process of learning, are still in the process of acclimatizing, are still in the process of learning all the things in the organization. Okay? And here you are already evaluating the performance. Essentially, within the 6-month period, the evaluation should occur after the third month, and they say after the 5th month, but I'm against it. It should not go within the start of the 5th month. It should be at least 4.5 months. Why? Listen to this, and this is the reason. Because there is an existing jurisprudence, okay, a court decision, where if you evaluate a probationary employee close or very close to the end of 6 months, there was a ruling that favored the employee and not the company. And the court said something like, if by this time the company has not decided to either confirm the regular employment of the employee or terminate his or her services, then it stands to reason that the company has not decided. Makes sense? Because I think, if you will ask me, after the third month, I can already tell, okay, as an HR practitioner, whether this employee pass or fail. I do not need the extra 3 months to evaluate performance, but the law requires at least 2. So it should be 3rd and 4.5 months. And for regular employees, as long as you do it within a 2-year period, let's say you have once a year performance evaluation, you do it also next year, so that there will be a pattern. Because if you do it only 1 year, you don't establish a pattern. Okay? So all these things you should remember. And when the employee or probationary employee already exceeds 6 months, okay, even without the benefit of a contract, okay, by operation of law, he or she becomes a regular employee. Remember that. Okay, number 6.
For me, excuse me, is it okay if we go on a break first?
Sure. 5-minute break so that I can go to the what they call in Japanese OTRE.
And that means? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm back. I mentioned a while ago that we are going to do something exciting during our break time, and this is it. Right now, we're going to play a game, okay? As a breaker, as an icebreaker, we're going to play a game, and that will have two winners. And each winner will be receiving 200 pesos that will go straight to your GCash account. There you go. So we have two lucky participants who will be 200 pesos richer after this free live webinar. Okay, and let's reveal what is the game. It's called Guess the Movie. So we will find out who here are movie buffs. So this is how the game goes. We'll show you short clips or short trailers of a particular movie, and this is what you have to do. You have to be the first one to type the complete and correct title of that movie here in the chat box, okay? Kailangan pabilisan, okay? And again, it has to be the complete and correct title. Now, for you guys to understand and get the feel of the game, we can do a trial run. This is just a sample, no prize yet, but I want you to start guessing the title of this movie.
Almost 40 feet high. Really think she climbed out?
Depends
On what?
what kind of dinosaur they cooked up in that lab. She's a highly intelligent animal. She will kill anything that moves.
Oh, God.
Okay, here are your guesses. Ant-Man, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. Any other answers? The Jurassic Park. Jurassic World Dominion. Let's reveal what is the right answer of that. This movie, what's the right title? It is Jurassic World. Okay, so a lot of you got it right. Okay, again, let me remind everyone. It should be the correct and complete title. Okay, so I hope you guys are ready. This next clip will give you 200 pesos. Let's watch it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
For our final trick.
we are going to rob a bank. On the count of 3, you will be teleported through space and time to your bank in Paris. 1, 2,
3. Everyone in this room was a victim of hard times.
Some of you lost your homes, your cars, and so tonight,
We're going to return some of that money back to you.
thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Good night.
there you go. Very fast answers. Chat box is moving too fast. I'm going to read some of the answers. I'm seeing, now you see me. You can see me. Now you see me too. Any other answers? Ocean's 11. Okay, let's reveal what is the title of that movie. It is Yes, Now You See Me. And the very first one who was able to type it correctly, we have our first winner. Congratulations, Michelle. So yeah, congratulations. Michelle, you will receive 200 pesos. This is what you have to do, okay? You have to send your GCash account number privately to ARIVA Academy Philippines here in the chat box. Again, send it to us privately. Don't send it to everyone. We're trying to protect your data here. Send it to us and then wait for your prize. We'll be sending it to you in a little while. And Michelle, because you've won already, you won't be able to join the game anymore, okay? So that your other co-participants will have a chance in getting the last 200 pesos. Congratulations again. Now to the rest of our participants. Last one, 200 pesos is at stake. So let's watch this next clip.
In 1954, we awakened something.
Well, there's nuclear tests in the Pacific. Not tests.
They were trying to kill it.
There you go. Let me check the answers I'm seeing. We have Titanic, Godzilla, the Avengers, Godzilla, Godzilla. Any other answer? Let me see. Okay, so mostly the answers are like that. And let's reveal what is the title of that movie. It is, yes, Godzilla. And the first one. Very fast. She is very fast in typing the answer. I think it was just during the first scene she was able to type the answer already. We have our last winner, Kathleen or Piano. Congratulations, Kathleen. You will be receiving 200 pesos as well. Send your GCash account number to ARIVA Academy Philippines here in the chat box. And wait for your prize. We'll be sending it to you in a little while. Congratulations, Michelle. Congratulations, Kathleen. Now I'll move on with my other announcements before I give the floor back to our speaker. Stay on top of our insights and updates. Stay connected with ARIVA Academy. You can join ARIVA Academy's Facebook page. You can also like our Facebook page and Facebook group. Follow ARIVA Academy in LinkedIn. And also you can visit our website, ariva.com.ph. And join us. Be a part of the growing ARIVA Academy Viber community. You can just scan the QR code that you're seeing right now. Once you scan it, it will bring you inside our Viber community already. So we're looking forward to seeing all of you there. For those of you who might have missed the other free live webinars that we've had in the past, don't worry, because you can all catch them in our YouTube channels. All you have to do is subscribe to ARIVA Academy and ARIVA Talks, and you'll be able to catch all of those past free live webinars that we've started since 2020. And for those of you who are interested in having an in-house program, an in-house training, we can help you out with that as well. Give us a call, 0916-695-4418, or send us an email, and then also let us know what topic you have in mind. Here are some of the programs that we offer, but we really have a lot more than that. So we'll help you partner with the right speaker under ARIVA Academy Speakers Bureau. Now, let me invite you to some of our upcoming learning events. Here are some of them. On August 4, that's on Friday already, we have another free live webinar with this topic, negotiation skills for career success. How to get what you want in business and life. There you go. That is on Friday already. The next one is next week on Tuesday, August 8th, from employee to entrepreneur. Tips for transitioning from employee to entrepreneur. Decoding property transfers and taxes. That will be our topic on August 9. It's our masterclass, again on August 9. On the same day, we have another masterclass, strengthening communication skills at work, how to be more assertive in a hybrid work environment. Critical thinking and problem-solving strategies for effective decision-making. This is our topic on August 10. On August 11, professional telephone etiquette at workplaces matter. Social media marketing strategy and advertising mastery. This will be on August 16 already. On August 17, supervisory leadership excellence, essential skills and proficiencies for great supervisors. And join us on August 23. We have our employment compensation and employee benefits forum. For those of you who have questions or concerns about your SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, or DOLE concerns, join us because we have speakers coming from those agencies, from those departments. They will be with us the whole day on August 23. On August 24, the 19th mini MBA for executive assistants, secretaries, and admin professionals. On August 25, delivering exceptional customer service, going above and beyond. Information Security Management System. This is managing information security towards strategic compliance of the data privacy law and regulations. This one's very timely, so join us on August 30. On August 31, 12 Essentials of Effective Logistics Operations and Warehouse Management. There you go. So those are some of the programs that we will have for the month of August to join us. If ever you're interested in joining any of those programs, any of those topics, just give us a call, email us, or go to our website, www.ariva.com.ph, so you can register online. So I won't be taking much of your time anymore. I'm giving the floor back to our speaker. Ernie, you may take the floor.
Thank you. Can you go back to where I left off?
There you go. You're on number 6 already.
Okay. Everyone is clueless as to the salary technical terms and jargons. And only compensation experts know all these terms. So it is essential that HR should explain this to them. In the same manner that before I started my presentation, I started with definition of terms. Because if I went ahead immediately with my main presentation, you will never understand what I'm saying because I did not tackle some terms which I brought up later. So I hope you understood. Next. And whenever business owners and even HR come up with a benefits and reward system, this is never tied up to performance. Okay? In other words, there should always be parallelism. I've encountered a situation where an MSME business owner instructed HR to change the salary composition of an individual. Okay? From a 20,000 salary, he wanted to make, okay, the basic salary 8,000 and 12,000 allowances. You cannot do that, no? Even as you take a look the mix, allowances can never be higher than the basic salary. Because the basic salary will always be the basis, okay, of 13-month pay, holiday pay, and even your retirement pay. And while many will argue that managers are not entitled to 13-month pay, the more progressive large companies give them anyway to managers. Why? Because they are so mindful. Can you just imagine that come 13-month pay giving, you only give your rank and file employees 13-month pay, while you don't give 13-month pay to managers. Sabi nga sa Tagalog, again, translators to the Singaporean, to the Nepalese, and the Thai. Okay? Uuwing luhaan. ang mga managers nyo dahil wala silang pang Noche Buena, wala silang mabibili na damit, bagong damit, pagkain at mga laruan para sa kanilang mga anak. So, there is rhyme and reason that progressive large companies provide 13-month pay even to managers, although it is not stated in the law. That in essence is what makes a competent, smart, professional HR practitioner. Okay? 8, you use erroneous data in computing for salary ranges. Supposing you participated in a survey or salary survey, which is not reliable at all. Okay? And then during salary negotiations, common mistake, you have a salary range. So if you are a competent HR practitioner, you should operate within the salary range of minimum, midpoint, maximum. But if the candidate is lousy, you are willing to go lower than minimum just to attract that lousy candidate. You cannot do that because in the first place, that is faulty hiring. If that lousy candidate does not qualify, then do not hire that person. Or if you are so impressed with the candidate, you are willing to go higher than maximum. Again, you cannot do that because you will distort your salary range. And other employees will find out sooner or later that you gave this new person a higher salary than them. And essentially, there is such a thing as red circle employee. What does that mean? When your salary goes overboard, okay, the maximum salary, you are considered a red circle employee. How do you address that? You either promote the employee to the next higher level or do not give any more a basic salary increase, but give only allowances. That's how you do it. So that your organization will not suffer from salary inequity. Okay? Next. Slotting. Okay? There is such a thing as slotting in the position structure. And by slotting, we mean, how do you know whether a carpenter, plumber, or welder is higher than the other? And the answer to that is through job evaluation. Okay? When you come up with a job evaluation, you assign certain points. And the individual who gets the highest number of points will be slotted in your position highest, then next, then lowest. But to say that this position is higher than this, you have to be sure. Okay, that is what I mean. There can never be unfairness in slotting employees in the position structure. And then finally, you don't equip managers with sufficient knowledge and authority in compensation management. Okay? You don't even discuss why this Mr. X was given a salary increase, and if the subordinate asks his manager, he cannot explain because you did not teach your managers. That's a no-no. Okay? You can never do that. Okay? I understand that some HR practitioners are selfish. You know, it has never entered my mind to be selfish in my entire career. Why? Because I take pride that even some employees who I trained in the past overtook my position. And that's not bad. Because someday soon, they will not only thank you, but they will tell all their friends and colleagues that, hey, it was Mr. Espinosa who was responsible for putting me in this position. Okay? That's the mindset. Next. I think I mentioned this already, but I would like to add obsolete, obsolete surveys. Let's say you're looking at current, so 2023, but you're referring to a survey made in 2000. That cannot be. Your survey should also be current. Okay? Next. So what are some of the challenges faced by top management? Okay? You can see it here, no? 3. Balancing company budget and competitive salaries. Some business owners will say, we cannot afford you because we don't have the capacity to pay. Okay? So a good company will allot first a budget, okay, for salary increases, and then make the salary increases. Okay? Planning a well-balanced and comprehensive salary review. You know, when we talk of salary review, there is such a thing as what we call in compensation management, calibration. What is the meaning of calibration? The CEO, in the presence of HR, okay, gathers all his department heads and discuss the performance evaluation rating of each and every subordinate in his department. What do you think of Espinosa? What do you think of Aquino? What do you think of Tebes? So, from the feedback given by all the managers, you are able to establish a pattern. What if two said, you know, Espinosa is excellent or an excellent employee. But the third one will say, No, I disagree. Espinosa is an a-hole. Pardon the word. But you find yourself in a 2-1 situation in favor of Espinosa. So what do you do? The managers will talk openly among the serving managers, and they will come up, okay, with a unanimous decision. That's a trick. And finally, as I mentioned a while ago, okay, communication or communicating compensation philosophy to all employees effectively. Next. Number 1, explaining key compensation determinants. Of course, there is a saying, the spirit is willing, but the body is not. Yes, you're willing to pay. Okay? But do you have the capacity to pay? So you have to determine that. Okay? This goes hand in hand with the number 2, which is the company's current financial state. Are they profitable? Are they losing? Are they in the process of declaring retrenchment or redundancy? Do they have the intention of terminating some employees? Okay. And then 3 and 4, self-explanatory. Inflation, cost of living, conditions. Okay. The rising prices of fuel. The rising prices of prime commodities, which we see on TV every time. Next. Government wage regulations. And there are so many posts regarding this. What do we do to increase our minimum wage to 610 in NCR? Things like those. Okay? Geographical location. Now, this is the common concern of employees in the provinces. Why is it that the minimum wage in the province or in the provinces is not the same as the minimum wage in NCR? Plain and simple, because the standard of living in the provinces, particularly the remote areas, are much lower than the standard of living in NCR. Okay? Besides, the DOLE, the Department of Labor, set up the what they call the regional wage boards. And the regional wage boards decide per region what would be the minimum salary of each region. Okay? So, fear not. Okay? Because the regional wage boards consider all the factors in providing you, those in the provinces, the specific minimum wage that you need. And besides, I always tell people, never compare yourself to others. You will just be disappointed. Okay? You will either feel down because the others are getting more than you, or conversely, you will feel superior and smarter than the others. feeling that you're better than them. Okay? Labor union. Okay? Because in any collective bargaining agreement or CBA, unions demand salaries. So for as long as the labor unions sign a contract with the company, okay, even if these provisions are not in the law, what would prevail would also be the CBAs signed by the labor unions and employees. Okay? Unless it can be proven that the CBA provisions are against the law. Okay? Of course, employees' productivity level. Next. Labor supply and demand. When there is a scarcity, when it comes to certain positions, the higher the difficulty in hiring. For example, entomologists, and I understand there are only less than 10 in the Philippines. So how do you recruit? You cannot advertise, but you can ask for referrals or do what you call in the recruitment lingo, special search. You invite, you call the candidate directly and confidentially and invite him over for interview. That's what we call special search in recruitment. Globalization and effects of economies of other countries. Whatever happens in the US, okay, also would affect the Philippines. Okay? Competition. You should not find yourselves in a situation where all your competitors are already in the high side when it comes to giving salaries when you are still here, miles apart. So therefore, your decision in compensation matters. You have to increase the salaries to cope with the salaries of your competitors. Next. Time check, it's 3:25. That ends my presentation. I will be open to questions. Then I will request you to read what's in the chat.
Yes. For those of you who have questions, you can type it here in the chat box or click the raise hand button. But for now, I have a question here. It was sent to us already. Ernie, is it fair or is it a general practice to have two employees who have more or less the same output to the company? However, one is only 2 years and the other one has been with the company for 15 years, but they have the same benefits and salary.
Okay. When you find yourself in a situation where two people having the same rank, okay, but are different when it comes to tenure or years of experience, apart from their competence, because we cannot say that the one who is more experienced is better. We cannot do that. For as long as they are in the same rank, it's possible. But in order to solve that, there are some companies which give what they call seniority allowance. Okay? To separate the two and to give credence to the person who has been with the company for a long period of time than the newbie, you provide him what you call a seniority allowance. But, you know, the basis is performance. Okay? It is no longer seniority. It is no longer tenure. It is no longer years of experience. And perhaps if you are a good HR practitioner, you can toy around with the minimum, midpoint, maximum. Yung newbie siguro nasa minimum. Yung tenured is already nearing maximum. Okay? That's how you address that situation.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll move to the next question. This is from Georgia. Okay, I would like to ask regarding the last pay of an AWOL employee. How long is he or she entitled to claim his last pay?
Okay, good question. AWOL employees, of course, means those employees who have absence without leave or leaves, no? As long as you are able to address the issues on proper turnover, clearance, accountabilities and all, and the AWOL employee, okay, has to go or to be given clearance. There is no indication under the law when, but it's absolutely necessary that if you owe any employee some monies, no, MONIES, you have to pay, regardless of when it is due, di ba? Because that's being mindful. That's being humane. There are some promulgations which require up to this point, but in my view, like for example, this is an exaggeration, no? But this is just to prove a point. Sumakay ako sa Grab. Okay? Ang una kong gagawin ay tanungin kagad yung sa driver. Okay? Again, translators. What is his GCash number? And before we leave, I pay. That is the mindset of a responsible individual. The same goes through whenever you tackle HR issues and concerns. No? Kasi yung iba, either too legalistic, okay? Lahat puro tungkol sa batas. Pero pag ganahin mo yung puso mo, HR people should have a heart. They should be fair. They should be humane. And that is what makes a good HR. Okay? Sige, Kate.
Okay. And this will be our last question because of time constraint. Here, it was sent to me privately, so I won't be mentioning the name of our participant. Here is the question. Is there a need to increase the salary of an employee in every additional workload or job given to them regardless of the length of service, and even if additional workload is related to his current function.
Okay. You have to remember two things. On the downside, I am disappointed with employees who, before being given new tasks, will always say either, it's not in my job description, okay? Or two, what is in it for me? Okay? What will you give me for this additional task? Do not second guess HR, because a good HR will already come up with an intervention by evaluating your performance and analyzing the job content. If it can be proven that the additional tasks increase the money, time, and effort you expanded to the job, then you deserve an increase. Okay? But if it is just additional minor functions, stay put and don't even demand any salary increase. Because most rank and file have what we call rank and file mentality. Okay? Pagkahaba-haba ng post, and the concern would be how to survive in the job. But the last question is, then if that's the case, how much will be our final pay? Or are we entitled to the 13-month pay? Puro pera-pera lang. There was an advice from my former superior. Between the ages of 20 and 35, never discuss money. What you do is read, and learn. Be a lifelong learner. Okay? Sharpen your saw. Protect your reputation. As long as you are able to do this by age 36, money will just come in and you will be very successful. And that ends my Q&A. Thank you very much to all of you. See you next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our speaker, Mr. Ernie Espinosa. Maraming salamat. But we're not yet done. We'd like to present a certificate. Let me just show it so I can read it.
By the way, let me cut you, Kate, no?
Yes.
The last time I spoke regarding investigation, workplace investigation and due process, you presented me with a certificate also, and I requested for a copy in my messenger, but I never got it. So,
we will be making sure.
No?
Don't worry, we'll send it.
Yeah, the one on workplace investigation and
then this one as well. We'll be sending both to you. To our technical team, please take note of that. Okay, so let me just read this. ARIVA Academy Learning Development at its finest gratefully presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Ernesto G. Espinosa for imparting his professional expertise, valuable insights, knowledge, and wisdom as resource speaker during the conduct of online learning session entitled Avoid Common Pitfalls in Compensation and Benefits Administration, given this second day of August 2023 via Zoom conference, signed by J.M. Atienzo, Chairman and Chief Strategist, Learning Event Producer, and Michelle Irish Malonda Samson, President and Chief Learning and Development Strategist. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for our speaker, Mr. Ernie Espinosa.
By the way, Kate, to those who thank me online, You're most welcome anytime.
Thank you. I'm sure all of our participants really learned a lot from you, from all of the stories you shared, the sharings that you gave us. Maraming salamat. Now,
Thank you, Kate. I'm touched. You melted my heart.
you are most welcome. Now, let's have a group photo with everyone. So please, if your cameras are still turned off, turn it on right now. Join us in this group photo. There you go. And let me call on our technical director, Direct Eric. Please help us out.
Oh yes, thank you so much, Miss Kate. So good day, everyone. So we have 2 shots of group picture for this PM session. Okay, you ready for the first shot, guys? Come on. Okay, can you show me your beautiful smiles for the first shot? Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, and for our second shot, can we do a 2 thumbs up? Yes, how about 2 thumbs up, guys? Okay, here we go. 2 thumbs up in 3, 2, 1. Yes, thank you so much. Back to you, Miss Kate.
Thank you so much, Eric. In behalf of everyone from ARIVA Academy, I'd like to say thank you for being with us on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon, learning from our speaker and from everyone as well. We're looking forward to seeing all of you again in our future learning events. Maraming salamat. God bless you all. Please, let's all stay safe and dry. Thank you.
Bye.